Experts Club, we're here. A lot of believes in the house. A lot of believes in the house. For those of you who are tuning in today to watch Coffee Experts Club,
Coffee.
Our folks down in Belize. Drew, do we have you, or are you going to come in and out on us? You there?
My audio is working just fine. I don't know about my camera here.
I love that. That's the Zoom move for all of us. You're like, just move a little bit to the left and to the right, and see, am I moving? Am I not moving? Then I'll know.
Am I connected? Who knows?
Awesome. So, Drew, do you want to kick things off and talk to us a little bit about who we're hanging out with today?
Yeah, so I'll give a little bit of a backstory on the gentleman on the screen today. So Coffee de las Mayas has been open now for almost 3 months. 3 months in a few days, and throughout 3 months, I've been here for X amount of time and had the pleasure of getting to know all the baristas, and Jared is one of them. I believe he was actually in one of the very first groups of people that I interviewed, and he has stuck it out for at least 3 months. So that's when we all know the baristas really start getting their sea legs. And over the last few months, as I came and went and have been coaching and guiding and doing my thing, Jared has kind of latched on to some of the lessons really quickly and confidently. So as time has gone, I've been able to hand off more and more duties to him. And anybody in the industry or in any management position knows that there's a lot of hesitancy and almost fear in releasing things to other people, and that sometimes failure is the best teacher. But Jared has made it easier than most of the people that I've worked with in the past to trust to hand off to some of these things. So Jared has, in his escalation of the last few months, been able to make his way into a management position. So he's learned up and down basically everything that it takes to run a store. And congratulations to Jared. He's been a manager officially for about a week now. And yeah, hopefully not any extra baggage under your eyes because of the job. But yeah, we have the pleasure of having him here today to kind of chat with us about his experience over the last few months of not only starting a new job, but a brand new industry in the area. So welcome, Jared.
Yeah, welcome, Jared.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, so I think so, Jared, just to give you a little bit of framework behind what we do with Coffee Experts Club. So our business up here in the States is to consult with coffee clients, and in starting De las Mayas down there with Rudy and trying to help him get that business up off the ground. There was a lot of consulting that happened too, but this is our first ever remote, this far remote, different country remote consulting gig where, Drew will come down, spend a good amount of time in a space, set up the shop, get things dialed in, hire out the crew, get all the supplies and spots. Drew creates the menu and then really sets things in motion. We do a grand opening. Obviously, I came down for the grand opening. You met Taryn. Taryn's part of our team. Taryn came down for grand opening. We had a lot of different players on the field, but then really leaving it to internal team to run things, and with some light oversight. I know you got to meet David. I sent David down for a month after behind Drew just to make sure this is really a long way away for us and just wanted to make sure everything runs smooth. So you're definitely one of our furthest and one of our newest. And I think that you've been doing such a great job, man. I know I'm on all the WhatsApp channels. I get to see all the different things that you do down there for Coffee de las Mayas. And for those of you who are just watching today and unsure, we use WhatsApp a lot of different ways. We'll break it out to different groups. There's a finance group, and then there's a ordering group, and then there's just a community channel for all of the baristas. So there's communication about workflows and who forgot the garbage key. And took it home again. And damn it, Deej, again, you took the garbage key. That's the kind of stuff that happens in that crowd. So there's all the different things that happen in WhatsApp, but the manager role is really the one that's accountable for it all. There are all these different pieces, and the manager is the one that's got to take accountability for that. So I know, Jared, it's been new for you. How do you feel like that journey has been for you? Coffee's new, this role is new, working with Drew is new. So tell me a little bit about how that's been going.
Well, when I first got the job, I never thought that I would be here in a management position, honestly. It's been actually a quite fun journey this past few months. Working with Drew is actually pretty awesome. He's pretty smart. Any questions that I have, I can literally go to him and go he'll explain to me. He'll tell me stories, and stuff. So, he's really good at explaining stuff. And it's been a lot of hassle, honestly. It's pretty new to me. It's only been 2 weeks, all right? Yeah, it's pretty fun actually.
That's awesome. So, Sisha, we're getting Sisha's even coming for the show. Yeah, Sisha.
Dog pack.
Drew, maybe you could talk about a little bit. I mean, obviously, and Ben, all of it started with you. I mean, like this, a lot of these systems, you were the origin of. I mean, you began the very beginning. Obviously, we built all those things out for roasters, like years ago now. But a lot of the things we're talking about, I know, Ben, when we reintroduced WhatsApp, you're like, no, don't take me back to that world, because you lived in WhatsApp for years, where you're like, if I hear one more notification go off on WhatsApp, we're talking about 15 stores, we're talking about 150 baristas. I mean, that's a lot more noise than just like onesie twosie situations. But I know a lot of it started with you and systems we put in place for people to be able to run things on the Google Drive, with free tools. I mean, like, how can we use free tools as long as we can't use free tools? And then when we need to start paying for tools, what are the tools we migrate up into? So Drew, how have you felt like managing things remotely has gone in this kind of a scenario? I know these are like these aren't old tools. These are old tools for you. These are tools that you've maybe not old, things we've made better over time. How do you feel like it's gone managing Jerdy and managing those systems remote? Long pensive pause.
You're asking me?
Yep.
Oh, I switched my Wi-Fi there in the middle of what you're talking about, so I knew that was directed at.
You're like, I don't even know what you're saying. Let me try and make up something real quick.
Yeah, hold on. Let me just pull something out of the air.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting to go from what we had to what we have now, because it's scaling backwards. And like you said, 150 to 9 employees is a big jump. And so there's almost extra mental bandwidth within the WhatsApp atmosphere, being able to manage things the way that we do, and trying not overcomplicate them, because obviously small businesses need something much different than what large businesses need. And if you try to implement large business into small businesses, it can really muddy the waters. So managing things, I think the most useful thing that we have from these tools is the clarity, and it's instantaneous. So if Jerdy and I are looking over a tally sheet and he's having troubles with something, I could pull up on my end, and we can use WhatsApp to phone call, because WhatsApp does free international calling, and we can be talking about the same sheet, and we're looking at the same sheet in real time. So WhatsApp has its huge benefits, especially when we're working with something that's international. And then teaching the tools that we're using, such as 7Shifts. For scheduling, that's we went from something that we used believe we used Hot Schedules till the end of time back at Roasters. So going from that to 7Shifts, and it's a learning curve for all of us, because it's not something that we necessarily used, but it's the same software. So learning it on a small basis, with 9 employees has been beneficial. And then as I learn, I can teach. So Jerdy and I have kind of been on a learning adventure together with scheduling. Because it's hard to teach an old dog new tricks. So if I'm learning with young dog Jerdy, we can learn new tricks together. So, he has more mental flexibility in these things than I do. And it's been nice to be able to, brainstorm with him, because he's new to the industry.
It's cool. Ben, you got any questions for Jerdy? What hits your brain, bro?
Yeah, I'm curious just what it's been like. You've only been managing for a week, obviously, but what's been the biggest hurdle so far? Just dealing with Drew, or learning it all together?
No, it's just having these new systems in place. The systems are in place for a certain reason, and just getting used to them takes time. It's just one day and everything's just going to be fine. There's always going to be hiccups that come around. So yeah, just getting used to the new system, it's been the biggest hurdle, honestly.
That makes sense. I mean, ideally, the point of the systems is to make Jerdy's job as easy as possible, right? Like, that's the ideal. I mean, hopefully we can set it up so, like, really the most of what you're concerned about is the customers and the employees, like not having to be like, oh my gosh, how do I fix this entire system-wide problem? Right. Ideally, we fix that before we roll it out.
Yeah. Jerdy, I'm interested, what's been the thing that you've been like has been the hardest? What's been the biggest learning curve where you're like, this has been the trickiest thing for me to get down?
I don't know, actually. I've actually been getting everything. Drew really good at explaining, honestly, and he'll take his time explaining everything. He'll use examples if he has to.
Cool.
So everything's really fine to understand.
Oh, we're kind of losing you.
Yeah, just a little bit. Just you broke up just a little bit, but I think that so you're feeling like systems are good, man. You're giving Drew way too many praise. Like let's beat this thing down a little bit, man. Dang it. So obviously 7Shifts was something that we had never used until Human Being Reno. Like that was something that Drew found in Human Being Reno and really loved as he was down there consulting and doing Coffee Experts Elite down with Human Being Reno and lived down there for those 4 months and helped those 5 stores, those 4 stores turning into 5 this month, actually groundbreaking on their 5th location. And that's pretty exciting. But I think that one of the coolest things I found about 7Shifts too is, we had to make a decision on POS systems, like what are we using for our point of sale, and we looked at a bunch of different solutions because something different in Belize than in the States is not all of them integrate. In fact, none of them integrate with the banks. So we were looking really for a sales capturing vehicle that we could then reconcile at the end of every night with credit card machine and cash, which is in the States like old school. Like we just took like 15-year steps backward, like to an old cash register that you're having to manually reconcile. But the beauty of Square was it's a tool that we all are familiar with. Like that's where a lot of coffee shops start with because it's a free platform. You only pay a percentage. The beauty of the way we're using it is we're not paying the percentage. So it's literally just a free platform, but that we're able to use it for the sake of setting up all the drinks. But another cool thing about Square is that it integrates with 7Shifts. So that's been a really cool piece of being able to let 7Shifts see the sales that are going on in Square and then give us some reporting based on that, which has been a really cool tool inclusion. I feel like that we hadn't learned yet, hadn't tried yet until we got down to Belize. And I think that's obviously something that like the coffee industry isn't known for being super like tech savvy. Like it's not like they're cutting edge technology. We work with a lot of clients that are super cutting edge technology outside of coffee. But when we come back into coffee, I feel like Ben, Drew, and I all probably just like lean back and are like, someplace that's a little bit simpler, an environment that I can understand completely door to door because it's not super technical. But I think that's been a cool learning curve for us of learning new technologies, learning what works together and how we can get best clarity and be able to manage the team remotely in this new venture form. So I think there's been a lot of cool tools in that. I don't know, Drew, if you want to speak to that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's been, like I said, a learning curve. And one of the things I left for about a month and then came back. And one of the things that happened more organically than if I'd been here was the kids I call, sorry, Jerry, I call all you guys the kids. All you kids figuring out the systems in a way that works best for you. Because I mean, you say that I can explain things. I can really over explain things and do it my way, but I can beat a dead horse with the information that I have. So backing off a little bit and allowing you guys to spread your wings in that realm has been probably healthier than me trying to dot all my T's and cross all my I's, so to speak. So I mean, Jerry, you want to talk to us a little bit about going from this is your first time in management, if I'm not mistaken. Like I said, it's only been a week, but you've been kind of practicing the roles and duties and for the last month-ish and taking on more and more. What has it been like for you to kind of go from being a coworker with the team to being a manager, just from your personal experience? How's that been?
Well, it was like it was a really shock, honestly, but it was quite difficult knowing that eventually, I'm not gonna just be a coworker, then I'm just gonna be a leader as well,
Yeah.
And that you can make people separate you from each other, and just learning different responsibilities, have people be accountable for stuff. It's really hard, especially when you build such a bond with them. Having to put tell them about some policies that we have. You're doing this policy, you're not doing this policy. It's quite hard, honestly. So learning to keep the bond with each other, even though me being a leader, I'm still one of you guys. I'm still your coworker. I'm still your family.
It's always like the tough fine line. I remember we've promoted so many people in the past with managers, and it's great to promote like from within your company. I always hate like bringing an outside party as a manager. That's always the toughest thing is like, wait, you're my boss? Like I was just making lattes with you like last week and we were joking around in the back room. And now you're going to try and boss me around. Like that's such a tough line to be like, yeah, I'm your friend, but also, hey, you were late. That was a policy that you broke. Here's what needs to happen. So, I mean, you're definitely not the first to say it's difficult because it's just hard to do. Like it's hard to go from friend to, okay, now you have to listen to what I say though.
Mm-hmm.
Drew, what are your thoughts on that? I feel like something that really stuck out to me about Jerdy and the kids down in Belize. We have opened dozens and dozens of locations of coffee now. Like at this point, like we've been under the hood of so many different coffee franchises out there, so many different independents out there. Like we've got to see a lot of really cool stuff all over the country. Tennessee and Nevada and Montana and Washington, and like we've seen all the different ways people do things. But something that you said that really stuck out to me was how impressed you've been with these kids down in Belize who have probably the least coffee experience of any of the new baristas we've trained, right? And even like you were saying at the beginning, we didn't get to train them as thoroughly as you would in a normally coffee experts elite situation because supply chain's tricky in Belize, right? It's not just like you get on the phone and you have Cisco come drop off a bunch more of what you just ran out of. Like you're in a situation, like you're in Belize, it's going to take 3 weeks to get more product down there. So if you're not amply stocked, you better be careful. And especially coming into a grand opening weekend, I know that was some of your anxiety was, shoot, man, we're going to do so many cups, on grand opening weekend. Like how do you feel like that's gone with these Belize kids? Because I think that you've been really impressed from what you've told me.
There's a lot of layers to what you just asked me.
So talk to whatever you want to talk about.
Well, the team has been so impressive because I can't say it enough that this is a brand new industry here, and I mean there's almost a saturate where we're from. It's normal. There's oversaturation of coffee shops. There's a Starbucks on every corner and a Dutch Bros on every other corner. So we have a long history in our culture of coffee and what that means and the standards and what it looks like. And, I think almost the way that we have it up in the United States is we've become more complacent because there is so many options. There's the competition is thick for sure, but it doesn't mean that people are necessarily trying harder. And so with our team down here, you guys have really set a precedence and held it to a high standard. And we've talked about what it means to go from being part of the community to now serving the community and being really well known because, you do serve a lot of people every day and they're getting used to going out and seeing, 10 people everywhere they go. Because as we all know, people who frequent the coffee shop are going to recognize you when you're out grocery shopping or walking your dog or, buying some tacos at the taco stand or whatever it is that you're out doing. So some of the things I've been really impressed by is just their ability to continuously serve the community, even through that transition, because you become a local celebrity, not to toot your guys' horn too loudly, but you do become very well recognized, and they're still able to separate themselves in such a way that they serve respectfully. And that's really what they're here to do, what they set out to do initially. Now, speaking on the barista skills, it was all new skills for them, and we're actually training another gentleman we started yesterday. So I'm excited to spread more De Las Mayas down here. But the skill set that it takes to make coffee was all brand new to them. But they picked it up quick and they retain it really well and they replicate it well. And where there's often slippage from what I've seen in the States, there's not so much slippage here as far as, skills or habits. And I've been really impressed with how quickly you guys pick habits up or shift habits away from if something's not working. Obviously, we didn't know if everything was going to work exactly how we wanted to roll things out, and it didn't end up working exactly how we thought they would. And so when we're doing something one way and we need to pivot away from that, I've been impressed with how quick you guys are able to pivot to doing something new and seeing the point behind pivoting and understanding why it's important for the whole entire store to pivot in the way that we decide to. So now going to the supply chain has been a bit of an issue, only because, it's an issue in the United States. As we know, things aren't necessarily that easy to get anyways. But down here, it is about a 3-week lead time. luckily we have some really nice tracking systems and some really hard workers like yourself, Jardy, and Christopher, who's the assistant manager now, doing inventory and keeping track of things and being really well versed as far as communicating what we need, what we have, and what we're going to need. So ordering 3 weeks out to a month out has been a bit of a challenge. But it holds the same challenges, I think, as ordering every week or every other week, because it's just a different flow. It's just a different amount of time. And so we've had to plan things out a lot further ahead, and get used to, say, holidays. I don't know all the holidays down here, so Jardy has to continuously remind me, hey, make sure that on this day we're prepared for this because this is going on. Or we're right beside the Welcome Center, so hey, there's an event at the Welcome Center, or there's live music, or there's like a local business market going on, so this could be an influx of customers. So we've had to, and probably to our benefit early on, plan way ahead rather than catch up, because I know in our history we almost play catch up all the time. Like, oh, this is happening next week, we better make sure we ordered enough product, or we better go clean out Walmart, or cash and carry, or whatever it may be. But here we've had to have such foresight to set ourselves up for success in case of so many different things that could happen. And often so within the last 3 months, often we're set up just fine for success. So shifting our product needs to what the community wants has been kind of nice, because it limits down what we carry as far as our menu. And out the gate, of course, I said, no, this is our menu. This is what I want to serve. This is what I know. And the community responded by purchasing certain things and not purchasing other things, being fully transparent with what we're going to need. So that was another thing that Jardy's been helpful with too, because he's been here his whole life, so he knows what the community kind of wants and is able to speak to me on those things when I do have those questions. But yeah, I mean, in a nutshell, the kids are doing fantastic. Learn things very quickly. You guys serve very humbly, and supply chain is a nightmare here, just like it is in the States.
And I mean,
curious, Jardy, oh, go ahead, Aaron.
I was going to say, and let's not underestimate, so grand openings, when we talk about that, Drew not able to train the way we normally do, because any of you that train with coffee, it's make a drink, make a drink, make a drink, make a drink. Now you've got it mastered. Well, that's not how these kids got their training. Drew had to teach them, and we created some really cool systems, I think, for how we're doing teaching and modules kids are testing on, which I think really helped on a lot of those things. But really, when it came to live making of drinks, we threw Jardy right in the middle of a 1,700 cup weekend. Like that wasn't a joke. Like they're talking about so buried underneath cups. Maybe Jardy, you want to talk about that a little bit? How did that feel, being buried under so many cups and not having really made a lot of these drinks before?
For grand opening, it was really nuts. I still have pictures of the grand opening from morning since we opened until night till we closed. There was a long line, honestly. There was no break at all. Got here, it's we need a large blended Mai, we need a large hot Mai, we need a large ice Mai. It's just drinks, and knowing that we've only been making drinks for a couple weeks, we don't want to mess the recipe. So it was actually quite nerve-wracking, but fun at the same time, knowing that you'll be able to serve a lot of people.
One of my favorite memories was Drew and I sitting in the back, right? That was such a crazy grand opening, and both of us were just so dead beat, getting there at 5:30 a.m., working until 10 p.m. every night, just so beat down. And me and Judah in the back just trying to enjoy a slice of pizza, just have a conversation just for a minute. And a call from the front from Jardy, help, somebody. That was one of my favorite memories, Jardy, of you just crying out, needing help in the front. Because I mean, really, a lot of it was new and learning, but you guys did so well, and I was so proud of you guys how well you showed up. Yeah.
Thanks, Aaron.
Yeah. Ben, did you have a question to tie us up? We got a few minutes left.
Yeah, I was just curious, Jardy, what your sense of the vibe of everybody there, all the local people there, as the shop's been open now for a good couple months. Does it seem the shop's pretty well received in the community as something new, or people are just what the heck is this place?
Yeah, we have some people actually come from different part of Belize to say, hey, we've heard about this coffee, we came to try it. We've seen a lot of different people, and we've actually having a lot of regulars back, honestly. And like Drew said, you're becoming a local celebrity. I'm walking around, it's hey, I saw you at the coffee shop, how you doing? Yeah, so the community the community really accepted the coffee shop really well. You know, people got here, like they know about us, you know, they talk about us, they share about us, you know. It's actually been a real impact, you know. People was like, oh, I love your coffee, you know, I've never tasted coffee like this before. Or we had some tourists come and I was like, this is the best coffee since we've been traveling, you know.
Wow.
So, you know, it's really good to hear about those.
That's cool. That's awesome. Yeah, the celebrity part's great, especially, you know, if you're ever out grabbing a drink somewhere and they go, hey, coffee guy, let me buy you a drink.
That's right. Oh man, Drew, anything to close us up?
Well, you know, coffee is coffee. Apparently, anywhere you go in the world, we are able to do what we do and do it at a high level. So we couldn't do it without such smart kids. So I've been very blessed to work with the team down here in Belize, and I've learned probably just as much from them as they've learned from me. I just repeat my information a lot more often.
Yeah. We're excited. And we're excited for location number 2, right? We're looking at location number 2 this year, which would be cool. A cool opportunity for the kids that are in San Ignacio to think about, you know, branching out into a second location and maybe even growing in a company. You always want to see a company that's growing and taking ground. Like, you never want to see a place where they're like, hey, we're okay with just having one. We're like, well, we all know you don't make money in coffee with just one location. Like, if you want to make money in coffee, and if you want, you have to have multiple locations. And to do that, you need amazing teams. So Jerry, just well done, man, on showing up. And I know you didn't come into this job thinking I'm going to be the manager of Coffee de los Mayas, but I feel like it's come to you because of the way you've shown up. And I just want to say, well done, man. And I know you talk really highly of Drew, but I know sometimes he can be a pain in the ass. And so well done on just tolerating him being difficult on you sometimes. But I think that all in all, man, just grateful to be in the mix with Coffee de los Mayas and really proud of you, man, on how you're showing up as a manager. So well done.
Thank you so much, man.
Yeah. All righty, guys, that's a wrap. This is Coffee Experts Club. We'll see you guys next week. See you, everybody.
Peace.